Hello, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing, swatching, wear testing, trying on, comparing the entire new VERSED makeup collection. Now, this collection launched on VERSED.com and Target 2 weeks ago. VERSED, if you're unfamiliar, is a really amazing, affordable skincare brand. I've been a fan of their products for several years. They launched in 2018, and then the owner of VERSED went on to found Merit Beauty. So it's interesting that they are now taking kind of that similar clean girl aesthetic and extending it to VERSED in the form of color cosmetics. Now, I did purchase around 90% of this. The brand did send me the skin tint, one of the lip serums, one of the blushes, this adorable headband, and then a brush as well. And then I bought a brush. But as always, this will be a completely honest, unfiltered review. I do want to mention that you can purchase these items in store at Target, online at Target. Also, check the locations. Not every Target has it, but I do have a code with VERSED. It is an affiliate code, but it does save you money. So I will have that up on the screen here and then down below. So if you do decide to purchase any of these items and my review is helpful, I would appreciate if you consider shopping either my Target links or the VERSED links and using my code. Let's go ahead and get into the review. The first item I'm going to apply and talk about is the VERSED Sheer Stay Liquid Shadow. These retail for $13.99 and they do come in 5 shades. I have been testing this repeatedly over the past 2 weeks and I have some opinions about it. So this is supposed to be just a sheer wash of color over the lid. You know, think of the like Giorgio Armani eye tints, etc. Similar idea. All of the shades are in a shimmer formulation. Now this is the shade Poetic, which is a really pretty mauvey purple. For me, I struggle with this product ever since I hit my like mid 30s. I'm 34. I've really found that very few liquid eyeshadow formulas, especially shimmer ones, work on my eyelids. So do keep that in mind when I apply and kind of share my review. After I use this, I did go in the next day with Elisa Eldridge Shimmer Liquid Shadow to figure out, is it just me or is it the shadow? And I have to say that the Lisa Eldridge one, I didn't have the same fading and creasing as I did with this. So if you are someone who is starting to have crepier eyelids, you're in your 30s, you may want to steer clear of this. I don't want to say you definitely want to because this might work for others, but if you are someone like me that struggles with the liquid shadow, this is one where you may have some issues. But I'm going to go ahead and apply it now so you can see at least how like beautiful the formula is upon first application. I also want to mention I do like the applicator and I like that it has like that little hole in the middle of it to make sure you're not putting too much product on your eyes. And I did not prime my eyes because I actually found that this wore better when I didn't prime my eyelids. So I don't know, guys. I don't know what's going on with my eyelids lately, but products are just not really cooperating. So I'm just gonna blend this out with my finger. One thing that I did have an issue with this product is I do feel like it's hard to blend it out without it completely disappearing. When I did use a brush, it just really ate up all the product. So I have found the best way to apply it is to kind of just apply it with the applicator, spread it around where needed with your finger, and then kind of just let it air dry. I'm gonna fan this out. This shade is gorgeous though. I really, really love this shade. Okay, we're gonna go in on the other eye. I'm gonna do very minimal cleanup on this. Okay, so you can see just how beautiful and wet looking this shadow is. I'm gonna actually zoom you in closer. And again, this is the shade Poetic. Upon first application, I'm looking in my mirror down here, it really is beautiful, but for me, by end of day, it was almost non-existent and really, really creasy on me. Keep in mind though, other products that people loved did not work for me. So to give you an example, talking about their sister brand, Merit, those cream eyeshadows performed horribly on me, but I know that some people absolutely love those. So do keep that in mind. I feel like liquid eyeshadows, I feel like liquid eyeshadows and concealers are like some of the most personal preferences when it comes to makeup, because they really do perform so differently based on like a fold in your eyelid, like where you have more oily skin, etc. So keep that in mind. This one, beautiful, but longevity on me, not great. So for me, this one is a pass. Next, we are going to talk about the Versed Skin Solution Serum Concealer. This retails for $14.99. It comes in, I believe, 14 shades. I am the shade 2N, and this is formulated with caffeine and kojic acid. From a shade perspective, this is a great shade match on me. I am also a 2 in the Danessa Myricks lineup, and I'm a 2N here. So if that helps provide you with any kind of clarity about the shade. So I really like the applicator on this. I like a larger applicator in a concealer because I think it's just great for spot concealing, or if you want, some days, like I might just wear a tinted SPF, like the In Beauty one, and then I'll just want to take a few swipes of a concealer and brush it all over my face. To blend this out, I'm going to use the Versed, this is the makeup brush, the multitasking brush. I purchased one and they also sent me one, and I have been absolutely loving this brush. I believe it retails for around $14.99 as well. Okay, so we applied the concealer to that bruise I pointed out earlier from my cheek filler. And one of the issues I have with this concealer is I feel like it doesn't really offer a ton of coverage. Here we are with the concealer applied to the under eyes and then over that little mark on my face. I do really like this concealer. I feel like it does not like cake up, but I do find that kind of by hour 4, there are some parts where it doesn't look like the prettiest, but I think that's a me problem because no concealer right now is working on me. Like I'm just being honest, like this one is performing just as well as my like tried and true Tower 28 one. So keep that in mind. Now for my first impression. This is again the only item I have not tested yet, but the one I am most excited about. This is the Versed Multi Serum Skin Tint. This comes in 14 flexible shades, retails for $19.99, and the claims are the hero in your complexion routine. This multitasking skin perfector is a nourishing serum with light buildable coverage that instantly corrects uneven skin tone and protects with mineral SPF 40. SPF 40 in a complexion product is very impressive and awesome in my opinion. I feel like a lot of them will just have SPF 30 or an SPF 15, which doesn't do you much good. As always with a complexion product, I would still apply your SPF before because you're not going to be applying enough of a foundation on your skin to give you the SPF protection required. So I treat something like this as a bonus protective layer on top of my existing SPF. So here we have, this is the shade of 2N. I do want to mention that according to the brand and according to me, this does run light. So keep that in mind. This is the second lightest shade and it is pretty dang light. Okay, so this is my first time applying this. I am gonna just apply it all over with this brush, and then if needed, I can go in with a damp beauty sponge. This is very like juicy and hydrating. I'm excited. I will be coming back at the end of the video, or I'll insert a clip of my review at the end of the day, since this is the only product that I have not tested, so you can get my thoughts on how it wore over time. Wow, I'm like looking in my like very zoomed in mirror that I have in front of me. This is like a perfect shade match for me, and it's blending out so well. When I started blending it initially, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to go dampen a beauty sponge, do that whole thing. No, not needed at all. This brush is fantastic. I'm getting so excited. So here is my face with the product on. It is very glowy. It is very glowy, so we'll see how it sets down and how it wears over the course of the day. Time to move into the bronzer. This is the Versed Warm Dimension Bronzer Stick. I picked up the shade August. This retails for $14.99. It does come in 3 shades, and I'm telling you, I have been so impressed with the cheek stick formulas. They last so long. One of my favorite things about this bronzer is that it has, here I'm gonna use a clean hand, it actually has, like, it glides, but it still has some grip to it. I feel like a lot of stick bronzers lately, especially from brands that are like minimalist, clean girl makeup, they just don't last very long. Like I experienced that with, I believe it's, yes, the Merit Cream Bronzer. I love that bronzer, and I'll do a comparison of the shade in a moment. But for me, it does not last that long. But it's a beautiful formula, but it doesn't last long. This one lasts all day on me. Zero fading. No, I mean, zero fading beyond the way makeup products fade over time, but beautiful, beautiful. And this shade is great on me. It's a true, like, neutral tone. And again, this is the shade August. So just taking that same brush, I did clean it off a little bit. We are blending out, and I mean, it's just blending beautifully and effortlessly. Gorgeous, gorgeous. I hope they eventually expand the range into some contour shades, because this formula is awesome. And this is a very buildable formula. So for me, I'm gonna wanna apply kind of like a second round. Here we are. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You know what? I'm gonna actually do comparisons towards the end of the video. I will have everything timestamped down below so we can actually compare the Merit bronzing stick with that, if I can find my Merit bronzing stick. Now, time to get into another one of my absolute favorites from this lineup, and this is the Versed Shade Stick Blush Stick. This is the shade Cozy. I will insert swatches here of the shades that I do have from them. I have all but one shade. This one is one I've been wearing so much, and I was a little worried when these launched because I have a love-hate relationship with the Merit blush bombs, because the Merit blush bombs, for me, look so beautiful. My skin eats those up, and the pigment is gone within 2 hours. And so for me, I only really wear those on days where I'm going to be at home or where I'm doing something for just a couple of hours, and I can have easy access to a mirror to reapply. It's silly. Like, I still love them and I keep buying them because of the way that they look when you first apply them, but they do not last. These have incredible longevity. Incredible. I applied these, I mean, many times last week, and at the end of 8-hour workday, I would check in the mirror and it was still on my face. So this is the shade, as I mentioned, Cozy. This is a beautiful shade. I think it looks really great with my new red hair. I think it would look great on anyone, especially in the winter. Beautiful natural flush. Gorgeous. And if I wanted to, I could build it up a little more. I'm going to build up just a little more here to really show you how buildable this formula is. Next, we have highlighter. They launched their High Points Illuminating Stick in 3 shades. I picked up the shade Baroque. Here is that shade. And I also like this formula. Again, I think a lot of these like stick highlighters don't last long, but this one I did not have a problem with longevity. It lasted as long on my face as any sort of like stick highlighter would. Speaking of stick highlighters, House Labs. Haus Labs just leaked photos or released photos of their highlighting stick they're launching. It looks magical. Okay, so here is Baroque. I'm also gonna apply a little to kind of my Cupid's bow, even though it's probably gonna get wiped off because I'm gonna be applying a bunch of lip products soon. I'm starting to talk fast because I'm filming this in the morning and I'm a corporate girly and I gotta get to work soon. The most unexpected product from this lineup that I am obsessed with and I cannot stop using and I will, I think, repurchase for the rest of my life is the VERSED Tinted Brow Gel. Holy moly. If you like boy brow, but you find that boy brow isn't dispensing enough color or isn't pigmented enough, you are going to love this product. I picked up the shade Brown. This retails for $14.99. And let me check how many shades it comes in. Retails actually for $13.99 and it comes in 3 shades. So blonde, brown, and black brown. Hopefully they come out with some additional shades in the future because 3 brow shades, it's not a lot. But brown works perfect on me. First, I'm just applying it kind of upwards motion. Oh, I love this product so much. And then I like, after I kind of get the shape I want and the amount of pigment I want, I then go back in, not with more product, but I go in with upwards motions to give me kind of that fluffy brow look. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I like a strong brow, so if this brow is a little too strong for you, you can always just go in once with the product and you'll get a nice softer brow look, which I'll do now and show you. So this is more of like a boy brow look in my opinion. Not as much pigment, very fluffy, but I like to go in, get a bunch more. And having a strong brow with like my hair not done and no eyelashes does look a little startling, but once we get the final look together, I think you'll appreciate the brow. So this is the Day Lash Lifting and Defining Mascara. I love that they released it in 2 shades. They released it in a brown and a black. I picked up the brown because I love brown mascaras. This is the wand. So it has kind of tiny little rubberized spikes on it. This is a very natural looking mascara. If you want very exaggerated lashes, if you want something like, God, what's that, like Lancome? I think it's the Lancome, maybe Extreme. If you want very dramatic lashes, I don't think you're gonna like this, but if you like a more natural lash look for kind of more of a like dry formula, similar to the Tower 28 formula, I do think you'll like this mascara. And it's also a reasonable price point. Let me confirm the price real fast. It is $14.99. For me to get like the amount of lift that I like in a lash, I do have to apply quite a bit, but it is a nice mascara. It didn't like blow me away, but I'm also not a big like mascara connoisseur. Like there are very few mascaras that I hate. Most of them I'm like, oh, that's fine. Okay, after using this again, my thoughts are it's nice, it's fine. I don't think I'm gonna repurchase this. For me to get like the amount of volume and lift that I like in a lash, I had to apply far too much. So it's not bad, just not my personal favorite. Let's talk lip products. First launched 2 different lip products in the color makeup category. The first is the Soft Gloss Tinted Lip Serum. It has, you know, one of the applicators that's very popular now, the ones that Tarte made popular with their Maracuja Juicy Lips. Sorry, I have to press to pump this up. This is the shade. Where is the shade? Oh, Pop. So these are formulated with shea butter and vitamin E. And I really like these. They're comfortable. They're not overly pigmented. They're just going to give you a wash of color. There's no like plumping effect. So I did not feel any tingling. So that's going to be a difference between like the Maracuja. Well, they have a plumping one and a non-one. These ones do not plump. There is no tingling. Let's swatch all the shades I have. So this is the shade Pop. Also, correction, these retail for $11.99, not $14.99. So great price point, and they do come in 5 colors. And this is the shade Compliment. I've been wearing this one a bunch. So Pop, Compliment. And you can see they are a very sheer formula. So don't think you're gonna get a ton of pigment with these like you will with the like Hourglass product that comes in a similar packaging. This is a different formulation. Just because something comes in the similar packaging doesn't mean it's a dupe. Doesn't mean it's a dupe. I actually have 3 out of the 5. This next one is the shade Gem, and this is like a sheer red berry. I have not tried this color out yet. I will try that one today because I do have a little bit of concerns. I do find that with a sheer lip product that has a deeper tint, it does emphasize lip lines on me. So that's something that we will test out. Oh, this has more pigment on the lips than I thought it was going to. I am not getting that lip emphasis the lip line emphasis that I was worried about. This is gorgeous. I want like all 5 shades. Beautiful. So this is the shade Gem, and this is described as a rich cherry. And since we're here and this video is already going to be long, let's apply the rest of the shades. Next, let's go in with Compliment, and this is the one I've been wearing a lot. And this is a rosy taupe. So here is the shade Compliment. And last, we have the shade Pop. And Pop is described as a cool, bright pink. I'm going to take you close in so you can see just how beautiful these lip serums are. Also, no cobwebs. The last product we're going to be talking about today is another lip product, and these are the Cashmere Color Smoothing Lip Blushes. These retail for $10.99, and they do come in 5 different shades. I picked up 3 of them. I picked up Casual, Scene, and Spice. Now, these are a very interesting formula. The claims on the site are: the easiest way to play up your natural lip color, this balm gives a touch of color and smoothing soft matte finish. It feels like a balm, hydrates like skincare, and leaves your lips that perfect lived-in look. Now, I have to say that description is accurate. These are just going to be a wash of color. We'll go ahead and swatch them here. So this is the shade Spice, and then we have the shade Casual, and the shade Scene. So very, very sheer. As far as claims go, these claims really add up. It is a nice, subtly blurring lip product, a nice wash of color, and these do not dry out your lips. I have such dry lips. So many like matte products really suck the life out of my lips. These don't. These aren't like super hydrating by any means, but they are not going to dry out your lips. And the colors are really beautiful. So this is the shade Scene, Spice, Casual. Overall, love all of the lip products. I like want to pick up the rest of the shades because I'm just so impressed. And also the price point is so reasonable for a very nice formula. I also want to mention that everything here is made in Korea. And you know how amazing K-beauty is, so I did want to mention everything here is made in Korea. I'm gonna go fix my hair, and then we're gonna come back and do comparisons to items in the Merit lineup, especially focusing on those blush products. We are back 9-ish hours later, mentally transitioning from corporate America back to this. So excuse me if I trip up over my words and accidentally use some buzz corporate America words. Anyways, we are back to talk comparisons. Now, I did search, and if you hear a little bell, it's because Seamus has insisted on being in this room wandering around. Maybe he'll make an appearance on camera. Okay, comparisons. Now, I searched high and low, and I cannot locate my Merit cream bronzer. Very frustrating. I'm so sorry. It's somewhere. I like actually organized my makeup. I'll eventually do a makeup room tour. By the way, everything's very organized, but that one item is missing. So it's definitely in a makeup bag somewhere that I'm yet to unpack. But I did go ahead and do comparisons to other cream stick bronzers that are fairly popular. I will go ahead and insert the image here. You will be able to see just how orange those other bronzers are in comparison to that first one, which is the Versed one. So I love the tone of the Versed bronzer. If you can't tell, it is very wearable, true neutral. After swatching it against those others, I was like, do I have a bunch of Oompa Loompa bronzers? So that was a bit startling, but hopefully a helpful comparison for you when you're trying to figure out the undertone and how it compares to some of the more popular bronzers on the market. Now for the blushes, I went through my Merit Blush Balm collection, and I own all of them, even though I have a very complicated relationship with that product, and I found the corresponding shades. So I will put up on the screen here the corresponding shades, but I was able to find pretty much like exact, if not like 90% exact color matches. So I hope that by sharing these, that will help you decide which of the Versed blushes you're interested in. Now, something that you'll notice from the swatch is just how much more sheer the Merit blush balms are. I mentioned this earlier, the Merit blush balms on me last maybe like 2 hours. Like, they just disappear. They look gorgeous for the first 2 hours. The Versed ones last all day. It is around like 9 hours after I applied the makeup this morning, and I still think the blush is there. Like, I can still see it. Concealer faded. We'll get into that in a little bit, but the blush is still on my face. So I would say, hands down, recommend the blush. Use my little comparisons that I have on the screen to help you figure out what shade you want. Getting into final thoughts on all of the product, because we do have a fresh wear test right now. I still have everything on my face. I've done some up close inspections, and I can give you a more updated opinion on some of these products and an initial opinion on the skin tint. So let's start off with the order that we applied the items. The eyeshadow tint. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you in. On me, hopefully it's picking up that it creased badly, or more so just like disappeared, and is very patchy now on my eyelids. Again, this did not happen the other day when I used my Lisa Eldridge one, so keep that in mind. For me right now, it's a pass on the liquid eyeshadows. For the mascara, I actually did notice a little bit of like flaking on the bottom lashes, which I didn't love. So the mascara I think is just okay. I'm not going to recommend it. I don't think it's bad by any means, but I'm not blown away by it. Brows, mentioned earlier, so blown away by the brows. They still look, in my opinion, amazing. They have not flaked anywhere. Sometimes with brow products, I'll notice that as the day wears on, some of that pigment like flakes off. Not noticing that at all with the brows. That is a standout product. For concealer, I am noticing that the concealer did actually fade a decent amount. You can see here, my little bruise from my filler is now pretty visible, and I have not been touching my face much, so I think that's like a decent amount of fading. So I'm a little iffy on the concealer. I will say on the under eyes, it worked pretty well. It did cake up in a few places, and again, I'm having that creasing, but I would say for now, like the concealer, I'm gonna give it like a middle of the road review. I would say it's worth trying because it might work for you and it is so affordable, but I don't think you should prioritize it in the lineup. I know that's a very convoluted response, but it's complicated because I don't hate it. I actually like it. I think it's decent, but again, a bit of fading. Now let's do the skin tint. The skin tint I am very impressed with. Now I do have some areas of patchiness around my nose, a little bit in my forehead, and then a little on my chin. That happens for me with every foundation though. I would say if the Danessa Myricks Yummy Blur whatever skin tint is a 10, I'm gonna give this an 8. So I am very, very pleasantly surprised with this. I will continue using this. I think this is a really nice product, especially for the price point and for it having SPF 40. I recommend checking this one out. Now, also keep in mind, I did not apply a powder because there's no powder in the lineup, and I wanted to kind of wear these products the way they're intended to be worn and the way they're marketed. So I didn't apply a powder, but the next time I use this, which will probably be tomorrow, I will powder like my T-zone area. I was convinced I had no oil production, but I got a facial on Valentine's Day and the lady told me like I had an oily T-zone. So maybe I actually need to be applying powder so that I don't get this kind of breaking apart of the foundation around the nose, the chin, and then right here. The bronzers and the blushes. These are, for me, the standout in the collection. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I love the colors. I need them to launch like 100 more colors of the blush sticks. I also need the rest of the colors because they're so pretty. That bronzer, you saw the tone on me. It's so beautiful. It's a neutral undertone. I do hope they come out with more bronzer shades eventually, but big, big fan of these. My favorite from the launch. And then also, you guys, the highlighter. The highlighter is so good. It is still poppin'. It is still poppin'. Sometimes those highlighters really disappear on me, like the existing Merit one. That is gone after a couple hours. This one lasted all day. For me, it's performing the same as my like Chanel, I think it's called like the Le Balm stick. So very, very pleased with all of the stick cheek products. I didn't realize you were still zoomed in. For lip products, okay, so we have the matte balm and then the soft gloss tinted lip serum. Really like both of these. If I had to pick one, it's going to be the tinted lip serum. I just find that these are so beautiful, so flattering, very hydrating, very comfortable. But if you like a matte look, I think you'll like these. They're not super, but if you like a matte look, I think you'll like these. They're comfortable. They're not gonna dry your lips out. They're not gonna hydrate your lips either, but these are a big thumbs up for me too. I really love them. I'm just super passionate about cheek products, which is why for me the standout are the blush, bronzer, and highlight, but these are like, are right up there kind of with those. And then of course, oh my gosh, the brow product. The brow product. Oh, and the foundation. So much of this is so good, you guys. I know I'm rambling, but I'm excited. This lineup is amazing. Highly recommend you check it out. Steer clear of the liquid eyeshadows though. These are available at Target. They're also available at VERSED. Now, I do have a code with VERSED I will put on the screen and down below that will save you money. So obviously do what works for you, but if you want to save money, I'd recommend shopping through the VERSED website. I will have all of these linked down below to both Target and VERSED. Let me know in the comments below, like, what are your thoughts on this line? Have you tried anything? Is there anything you wish they would have launched or anything in particular you want them to launch next? Let me know in the comments.